Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Maple Leafs news and rumors video here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and on this one, we're joined in by Spencer Lazary here, who also covers the Maple Leafs. Peter usually does these videos, but Spencer, how's it going?
I'm good. Big shoes to fill, filling in for Peter. He's the man, so he's in the know with everything.
For sure. Yeah, there's always lots of stuff going on with the Maple Leafs. This season, not starting out very well. They are 500, 8-2 as we're recording this, 18 points in 18 games. Second to last in the Atlantic Division. Obviously not where everyone wants to see them. They are only 4 points up on the Buffalo Sabres, and they're on a 4-game losing streak as we're recording as well. So obviously there's going to be some panic and stuff going on, and a lot of it has to do is the injury list. There's lots of injuries going on with the Maple Leafs. Seems like with all the Canadian teams, they're all seem to be dealing with some injuries. The latest one, Auston Matthews being out, and Anthony Stolarz also added to the injury list. Matthews, they're not major injuries. Matthews is only out about a week. Stolarz is day to day. But that's two significant pieces out of the lineup. The goaltending, as we all know, is already kind of an interesting thing throughout the season with Wall being out, and then Hildeby has to step in. Spencer, what is it with these two injuries going on? How are they dealing with it here?
I think Matthews is going to be a bigger loss just because, one, obviously captain on paper, the best player. But I think it'll be harder to fill his role in the actual season. Whereas Stolarz, he hasn't been playing that well anyway. So anyone who plays better is going to win that spot. We're not sure about how Joseph Woll is going to play. He didn't play the best in the AHL in his conditioning stint, but the pressure's on him, and he seems to do pretty well when the pressure's on him. But I think I'd be more concerned about how they're going to fill that number 1 and number 2 center spot. Because John Tavares is moving up. They seem to be stacking that top line. They're a deep team, but they're not skilled anymore. You know what I mean? Like they lost quite a lot of skill, not just with Marner, but it seems as though this year they're slower, they're heavier, and they're older, which is something that we're not used to with the Leafs. We're used to the finesse, the skill, the speed. And that's definitely taken a step back down their lineup, which I would be interested to see how things play out with Matthews out. Now, he's supposed to come back on Tuesday. That's when he's eligible off the IR.
Yeah.
We'll obviously see if that's going to happen. It's a little concerning. No one actually knows what's wrong. So, yeah. And obviously, Jamie Benn hurt him in I think it was like his first or second year. And then I think it was last year, he went to Germany or whatever to get the special treatment on his oblique or whatever. So, obviously, a little bit more concern for him than Stolarz.
For sure. And Stolarz, like you said, hasn't been playing the best, but he's still you'd think, I'm nothing against Hildeby. But he's not the guy that you're hoping to be in the lineup right now at the beginning of the season. It looked like really good 1-2 punch with Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolarz. Now it's very up in the air of what type of tandem it is. So, it is an interesting thing to start the season. Very early. Stuff can turn around, but
the Stolarz injury is kind of weird because he got pulled 2 games against Boston, obviously a Saturday and a Tuesday. There was the Carolina game on the Sunday, which he didn't start. And then he didn't come out for the second period. The broadcast was talking about how basically it's not a good look to quit on his team. And now he's injured. So I wonder if it's just as much of an injury as it is like the Ilya Samsonov go down on a conditioning stint and reset, because they did pay him a lot of money. And it is like me and my brother were talking about this, and he said it's a typical Maple Leafs thing to pay a goalie big money, and then he craps out that first year of his contract. So obviously some concern in Maple Leafs land about if he's actually going to be that guy from last year, or if he was that guy because he wanted this contract.
Right. Yeah, that is an interesting thing for sure. You'd hope that Joseph Woll can come back and look like he was last season, because he looked really good. So we'll see how that all plays out, because goaltending is one of the reasons why they're not playing as well. we'll talk about the other thing later on here. But continuing on with the injuries, and this is a big loss. I know him very well from Vancouver here. Chris Tanev out of the lineup. What's the impact of him being out? Because he's one of their, he's much older now since when he was in Vancouver, but he's probably still one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. Blocks a ton of shots, great on the penalty kill. How much of a hole has he really been being out of the lineup here?
Yeah, I think if you're gonna lose any defenseman on the Leafs right now, the hardest one to lose and fill his spot is Tanev. Second one would be Jake McCabe, but Carlos seems a little bit out of place. Riley not having a good year. There's just no one to replace him and what he does. Like, you can try that Benoit McCabe pairing. They're decent defensively. You can move OEL up, but no one's blocking. What do you block? Almost 200 shots last year.
Yeah.
Like, no one's blocking. Like, sometimes he blocks 6 shots a game and goes back on there for his next shift. Like, no one's replacing that. The other thing about him that some defensive defensemen on the Leafs don't bring, that he brings, is presence and calmness. Like, Jake McCabe will get into a scrum in front of the net, then he's sitting for 2. You know what I mean? Tanev's pretty well controlled, as you would probably know, because he spent the bulk of the year in Vancouver. His career, he doesn't, like, he can get mad, but he doesn't get penalties when he's in those scrums. And that's something that Benoit and McCabe tend to do. And sometimes OEL as well. But I just think, like, you got Dakota Mermis. Okay, he's a fringe defenseman. Philip Myers needs to learn how to use his size a little bit more. But it's just a bad combination. You lose your starting goalie, or what people assume would be your number one. I think your number one defenseman, and then technically on paper your number one forward. Like, and also you mentioned standings, but you didn't mention that they're 14th in the Eastern Conference. This is the team that finished 4th in the Eastern Conference last year. I don't know what's going on, but their defensive play is so bad, and then losing their best defenseman, it's just, if they don't turn around, like Elliot Freeman always talks about, like, American Thanksgiving, Christmas is that hard deadline for starting to see if teams are out. Like, unless they're the Edmonton Oilers and can rattle off from first to, or last to first, like, I just don't see it happening. You know, so and Tanev's a big contributor into shutting, like, who's shutting down McDavid on Toronto right now? You know what I mean? Not a lot of people.
Yeah.
And again, without getting, like Tanev would take McDavid's skill and not get frustrated by it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's definitely concerning. That one's probably the biggest loss of them all.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I know Tanev quite well, and he's the same thing. Whenever he was out of the lineup, the defense looked bad. It didn't matter what time he was out; it just didn't look very good. That is his calming presence. He is very good. I mean, he won't add offense, but like I say, he's probably still one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. And he's in his mid-30s now. So, I mean, that's something that's really impressive.
And it sucks, though, his injuries. Like, okay, the first one he had a concussion, allegedly. You know, I don't think the NHL or the Leafs actually ever said what it was, but people assumed it was a head injury. And then the next game back, he snapped his head back. Okay, maybe concussion, maybe whiplash. But still, like, those are types of injuries that can screw up your career a little bit, you know?
For sure.
So,
and they linger,
look at Jake Muzzin. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe is he going to be a little bit more shy on blocking shots? Because if that's the case, or going into the corners or whatever, because if that's the case, Toronto's absolutely done.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess we'll see, but hopefully he comes back soon.
For sure. And like I say, concussions are, I mean, again, more experience here the Canucks have had with Hedl and his concussions. I mean, you don't know how long they'll be out, and if they come back, it could be just another little bit of a hit, and then they're out again. So hopefully it's not as bad. I don't think Tanev has real big history of concussions, but that's something concerning for sure. All right, I mean, you talked about the defense. They're one of the worst teams defensively this season on a team that is supposed to be really good. Craig Berube is one of the best coaches at coaching defense, yet, I mean, injuries play into it, of course. But do you have any real explanation of why the Maple Leafs are so bad so far this season defensively?
If I'm going to be honest, I've wrapped my brain around this one like so many times since, I guess like maybe 2, 3 games in the season when I saw this is a drastically looking like different looking team. The only thing I could really pinpoint is what I talked about earlier. They're slower. They play a heavier game, but heavy games don't work against speed teams. And then also on top of that, the um I don't even know if you could say the loss of Marner because one
Mm.
guy shouldn't replace all your team's defense.
Yeah.
And like they've had a healthy team at one point in the season and they still struggled. It doesn't seem like it could be buy-in. Maybe people aren't happy with the voice in the room, but I don't understand
Mm.
how that's happened after what is Berube coached like 100 games.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, like I don't understand what the actual problem is. Like, Peter would be looking at the underlying statistics. I'm not that type of person. I'm more of a watch and see. And
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of is it's got to be like the personnel that they brought in. Like, I mean,
Mm.
your experience with Dakota Joshua hits
Yeah.
everything that moves, but kind of skates like Nick Andropov. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Very slow, kind of looks like he's like a deer on ice, and then Nick Waugh, he was supposed to be this defensive presence. You know what's
Mm.
gonna hurt, and obviously we're gonna talk about it a little bit later, but the loss of David Kampf, who was
Mm.
their second best defensive forward,
Yeah.
like solely defense. Like Auston Matthews can play in the defensive zone decently well, but Kampf and Marner were the two, and you lose those two, and it seems as though like who we putting out there, Max Domi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't get what's going on, but hopefully they fix it fast because like we're what a quarter way into the season now,
Yeah.
and they're basically they're tied with almost tied with Buffalo. That's embarrassing,
Yeah.
especially because they won the division last year, right?
Yeah. For
So
sure.
to answer your question, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on, but it kind of reminds me of like 2008.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going off of that, I mean, it is very early, 18 games in, but there's already talk that Craig Berube is on the hot seat. I mean, yeah, Canadian team, obviously, there's going to be some panic, and for a team that's supposed to be firmly in a playoff position, even at this point of the season, is he on the hot seat? Is there a chance that he might not finish the season as the head coach?
Uh, I mean, I guess there's always a chance, but you only get so many bullets in the chamber, right?
Yeah,
Tree Living obviously fired Sheldon Keefe, hired Berube, Peter Laviolette, Pete DeBoer, maybe John Tortorella. They're gonna
yeah,
hire a veteran coach. They're not gonna hire some like what's his name, Muse or whatever in Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Like they're not gonna hire some younger guy. They've tried that route. Honestly, I think that the first change that they should make is something to their personnel.
yeah,
Like like Jay Rosehill talked about the Rasmus Anderson. Like would that change it? Because like that's
mm,
gonna be a significant like in and out, like a significant players coming in, who's going out? Could it be Morgan Riley? Could it be
yeah,
I mean, it could be a prospect, but at the same time, like you're bringing in someone who's actually going to make a difference. I think one of the things that they need to do is get an extra top six forward before they evaluate Craig Berube, because like
yeah,
we went through this once with Sheldon Keefe, they had some good success. Now we're going back to this with five top six forwards in one rotation. It's McMahon, it's Robertson, it's Domi. Like,
yeah,
let's get a solid top six before we evaluate if this coach isn't going to work. And I think a good true test is Jordan Kyrou,
yeah,
who didn't like Craig Berube, offensive guy, not a defensive guy. He didn't do the best under him, but William Nylander's got like what 26 points,
yeah,
having the best 2 seasons of his career. Because I think Berube knows the players. I think it's just well, right now he spoke on it today. I think it's lack of confidence.
yeah,
They're used to they're used to being like the New Jersey Devils, faster than everyone, can outscore anyone, and now they're like, oh my gosh, we've scored four and the other team's scoring six. We can't score
yeah,
six anymore because they don't have that. And the other thing I think they need to do is get Matthews some continuity with his line.
yeah,
Because one shift it's Robertson and Cowan, then it's Nyes and Nylander. Like they just need to stick with one top line because like I mean, besides maybe Edmonton, does Vancouver change their top line every 2 shifts? Because that's kind of what Berube does. And I can see why people are annoyed with his coaching strategy because
yeah,
he rolls a blender whenever things get bad. But who are they going to replace him with?
Yeah.
You know? So,
That's the
I
thing.
mean, I think like maybe this year, and then we could have that conversation, like in the fan base, have that conversation because that's the Leafs, right? No one would expect otherwise.
Yeah.
But like, I think Berube would have that conversation maybe this offseason. Let's bring in some other personnel. But if they're gonna bring in another coach, it's got to be in the middle because they had Keefe who's offensive, Berube who's
Yeah.
defensive. Like, they got to have someone in the middle who's kind of the two-way forward. Let's try
Yeah.
those type of guys. I don't know, man. It's just it's confusing. It's confusing to be a Leafs fan, and I always thought it was fun to write about the Leafs when they're good. It's
Yeah.
even more fun to write about the Leafs when they're kind of crap in the bed because like so many people have so many different opinions. When they're good, it's like, oh, leave things alone. Now
Yeah.
it's like people are saying trade Matthews.
Oh my
You know what I
God.
mean? Like Matthews isn't the captain. Matthews doesn't know how to lead a team. Trade Nylander while he's hot. Like, there's like some real panic going on. So I wouldn't doubt that Tree Living's like, got some armpit sweat going on because he's so
Right.
nervous about what's going to happen. Also, like I said earlier, you only have so many bullets. So
Yeah.
is Tree Living firing another coach within 3 years? Does that mean he's next?
Yeah. That's the thing, right? You can't keep changing coaches, and it's the same. I mean, you got to have some continuity for a while.
Yeah.
You can't be going and firing coaches every 2 seasons because you're just
Yeah. And
resetting. You're starting from zero again.
exactly. And then everyone has to learn a new system and then learn who they're playing with because like say for example, it's Bruce Boudreau. Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe he really does think Michelli's a good line mate for Matthews. Like, let's give that an actual try. You gave it a good college try in training camp, but Michelli doesn't fit Brube's style. So
Yeah.
instantly he's not a guy. We've tried the Max Domi experiment. I think that their main focus should be some continuity on that top line. And then maybe then we'll evaluate it.
Yeah. I think there's some other things that need to change before you go and fire the coach. So, but of course, it's already being talked about. So we'll see what happens there. All
I would
right,
be surprised if it
quickly.
wasn't talked about.
Right, yeah, for sure. Uh, as quickly, touched on David Kampf there. Officially now contract terminated. He's a free agent. So any team can sign him, and he'll probably get signed by someone because he is a very useful forward. Doesn't score a ton, but great defensively, great on the penalty kill. I mean, obviously they probably tried this, but do you think they might maybe did better job of trying to trade him? I mean, his salary was probably a reason why not, but they basically got nothing for him. They could have maybe gotten a draft
Yeah.
pick or something, but was that really in the cards? What do you think?
I mean, it should have been. I'm gonna get my prediction right here, right now is gonna be the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
Because if you look at their bottom six, it's literally just all Toronto Maple Leaf forwards. So I mean, it's a good guess, but I do think they probably should have made a little bit better of an effort. I just think that the issue was teams didn't want to take on that salary,
Yeah.
and Toronto probably didn't want to retain. Sorry, my headphones are going to die. So if that was the case, then obviously the only option that they had was to get them off the book so they could clear it up. But what are they going to do with that cap?
Yeah.
They got like
That's right.
$1.2 million now. And then depending on how long Matthews out, this could be a Vegas Golden Knights, Florida Panthers situation where we use LTIR and
Yeah.
somehow then, I mean, I guess we'll see, but I still think that one's a loss. And you can't tell me that what is Toronto carrying right now? 13, 14? You can't tell me that Sammy Blais is a better option than David Kampf.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hits, but David Kampf would actually help you defensively. Toronto's penalty kill stinks.
Yeah.
David Kampf and Mitch Marner was their penalty kill. Also, we're scratching Cal Yarncroke every other game. Why are we scratching the best defensive forwards that we have? I just like he's gonna get picked up. Toronto should have made a better chance. Actually, Toronto should have given him one chance to play on this team
Yeah.
before just scrap him to the minors. And even in training camp, you can't tell me that there's 13 forwards better than David Kampf.
Yeah.
So, and like Callie Armcroke's going to be the same situation because they're not giving
Mhm.
him a chance to play. So no teams are going to be interested in wanting a guy who's played, by the time 82 games rolls around, he's going to play in what, 40, 31,
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I would be more interested to see what happens with that cap and like going back to the Jay Rosehill thing. Could it
Mhm.
be Rasmus Anderson? Because True Living has an issue trading with Calgary because obviously Calgary is going to want more.
Yeah.
So And I would say Brandon Russ, he was the guy, but I mean, Pittsburgh's just circa 2010 right now. So
yeah, it seems like it.
so I don't know. I mean, we could go down the Nazem Kadri road until the playoffs, and then he's going to get suspended. You know,
Yeah.
so I don't know what they're going to do with $1.2 million, but they probably also should have given a chance to Roslovic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's got like 13 points, you know, and he was supposed to be on Toronto's top line. That's what they tried to pitch him. That's what the report was. So, yeah, I think Kampf's going to sting them.
For sure. I think he's definitely getting, and the Canucks are in that realm. I think they should pick him up. Their penalty kill stinks too. I think he really helped that out. And they
he
need
does
center.
seem like that type of player that fits that mold. Like he kind of reminds me of what was his name? Not Alex Burrows. Hansen, is that his name?
Jannik Hansen, yeah.
Yeah, like he kind of reminds me of like just a defensive forward, and Vancouver seems to be more interested in European players. So
yeah,
I mean, it could work, but I just think Edmonton's just going to do it, and then that's their way of not getting McDavid in Toronto. It's just they're going to provide them every Toronto Maple Leaf player they can.
Yeah. It seems like they like the Maple Leaf forwards, and
which is funny because they go there and do well, and then they're absolutely. I mean, Kampf wasn't a bum by any means, but like Kapanen, I mean. Kapanen kind of stunk in Toronto, and now he's like, I mean, he's in and out of the lineup sometimes, but like, look at him in the playoffs. Toronto could have used that in the playoffs, but Toronto doesn't give them a chance. As soon as they're not liked, it's see you later, right?
Yeah.
So
the only guy that didn't work out was the goalie.
yeah, I mean, also Toronto and Edmonton might have the worst luck with signing goalies to. Big contracts. Look at like Jack Campbell and then Anthony Stolarz. There could be a chance Anthony Stolarz is just god awful for the rest of his 5 years. And what are they going to do? They can't afford to buy him out if they want to be competitive.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
all right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out, and hopefully they can. Next time we're talking on a video, they're not on losing streaks, but some of this stuff has been fixed. But thanks, Spencer, for coming on.
Hopefully they go on a 15-game winning streak, huh?
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's what the Oilers did, right? So
yeah, that's true.
They might need that at this point, and that's how the Oilers got out of this.
This kind of reminds me of St. Louis. Berube coached that team out of it.
Yeah, so, they were last in the. I think they were last in the West for.
Yeah, January 1st.
Yeah, January, and then they went on that heater. Of course, won the cup. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Unlikely.
Unlikely. Yeah.
Hopefully they follow those Blue Jays.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Spencer, for coming on, filling in for Peter.
Of course.
We'll probably see you down the line as the season goes on. Be sure to check out thehockeywriters.com. We got great articles throughout the site, lots of Maple Leaf stuff going on. And, of course, our Substack newsletter. So make sure you're subscribed to that if you haven't already. And then check out all of our other videos on the YouTube channel. But until our next video, we will see you next time.